Welcome to the ZeNi podcast where we talk about whatever we want, but mostly games because we're gamers. I'm Zeo, your host, and with me is my co-host, Nio.
Hey guys, it's Nio again.
What have you been up to since last week?
Playing some. I've been playing some Dauntless, bro.
Dauntless?
Yeah, it's like sort of like Monster Hunter. You know, like you go around and you slay giant beasts. Well, I mean, it's exactly like Monster Hunter. It's literally the Monster Hunter format. Except it's free to play. It came into beta last week, so yeah, I've been smashing the shit out of that. You should get some on your channel. People would love it. It's great.
Yeah, you should link it to me, and then I will definitely be checking that out. I'll try it out. If it's fun, yeah, I'll definitely put it on the channel.
It is fun, but you need to be aware. You literally just go and kill a monster, then go kill more monsters. So like you might find it grindy, but you know me, I don't mind grinds.
It depends on like what type of grind. Like is it the type of grind where you grind for 6 hours, killing a bunch of little monsters, and then you go fight a big boss, and it takes like a 45-minute boss fight?
No. I mean, you only have 30 minutes max to beat the boss, and the longest it's taken me is 15 minutes so far. But that's because we did it as a 2-man when it should have been a 4-man.
Okay, well there we go. See, I think I'll be fine.
Yeah, you go.
I'll totally check it out.
You do it, bro.
I will.
You got this shit. You got it.
I did, however, go see the new Star Wars Solo movie.
Ooh, yeah, I don't really watch the Star Wars movies, so.
No, not a big Star Wars fan?
I enjoyed the games.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, all right. Well, this will be interesting. What would you think if I got you to try to guess the movie, the whole plot of the movie?
Bro, I know the plot of the movie. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you just automatically know it even though you haven't seen it?
I don't have to see it. Bro just got that shit going. Like, I just walk into a place and I'm like, I've seen this movie already. Where have you seen it? In my mind, bitch.
In my mind. All right. Well, then, let's do it. Okay, here we go. So, Neo, you're going to guess the plot of Solo, a Star Wars story. And I'm interested to hear your take on how you think this movie went.
Well, I mean, considering it's called Solo, I'm assuming it's about Han Solo. Is that a good start?
Yes.
Right.
Yep. Good job.
Considering he's dead in the modern movies, is this about his past?
Also, good start.
Yeah. Right. So, here we go. Han Solo suddenly, finds this car and smashes it into a wall and then finds himself in some little pub. You know the pub from the old Star Wars movies they were always in? It's not a pub, is it? It's
the
bar,
cantina.
You know what I mean? Yeah, the cantina, yeah.
Okay.
He accidentally crashes into the cantina, and in there, he meets, he's a player. He meets a chick, yeah? And the chick's like, hey, you know what? We'll go back. I'll give you a quickie, and, then we're going to go on adventures. So... She takes him to meet an old guy because old people are always the start of adventures, and they give you wise words that send you on your quest. And the old guy's like, you shall join us on our quest. And Han's like, I'd rather just get back with the chick on the inside. But you know what? This is a movie. We're going to make it interesting. Let's go, my friend.
So very meta then, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they go off on this little adventure, yeah? And he meets a bear, and it turns out the bear wasn't actually a bear, it was a Chewbacca. And he's like, oh, brother, we're going to be homies for life. Look at you. You a big brown motherfucker. Oh, you scaring all these motherfuckers around here. Let's go. So, they fuck off together, and they go and meet a black guy. And they're like, you're both brown. You know what? You can be a homie too. Yeah, right. So this brown guy, he has a name, right? What's his name? Do you know who I'm on about? How'd you say it?
Lando,
right. So they meet this guy, his name's Lando. And Lando is like, bruh, we're fresh. We got quests for you. We got so many quests, you ain't gonna believe it. So then they come across a big quest, yeah? The big quest, yeah? The big quest is about to happen, yeah? So they fuck off.
What is this big quest?
They're going to find the golden dildo to bring back to the chick from the beginning because that will make her fall in ultimate love with Han and his 2 new brown friends.
Oh my god.
So, they're off on their big quest to find the golden dildo, yeah? And then, there's a couple of crazy star fighting scenes, and they're like, pew pew, because they're fighting Darth Vader's uncle's granddad. because
Because this is in the past.
Yeah, this is in the past,
Right.
so they're not going to be fighting Darth Vader, are they? So yeah, they're
No.
fighting Darth Vader's uncle's granddad, who's actually called Vader of the Darth.
Oh,
So
interesting. So it's
yeah,
just a flip on the genre. I got you.
no. Darth Vader's a flip on his name, not the other way
Oh,
around. Yeah.
right, because
It's
he's his
it's in
uncle's
the past.
grandfather.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So they're there with Vader of the Darth, fighting him in space, and Vader of the Darth is like, "I've been a virgin my whole life. I need the golden dildo for myself." So he's flying around in his spaceship fighting them, and then they go into light space and they pew, and then they find himself on a cold planet. You remember the cold planet? What was it? Hoth. I remember that one.
Yeah.
Hoth. Yep, I got it right. So they're on Hoth, and they find out that a Yeti is hiding the golden dildo in a cave somewhere. So they're running around on Hoth, and they get on a train and have a massive train fight. And Vader of the Darth loses all of his soldiers to Han Solo and his main character fucking plot shield. So so they get to the end of this train journey, jump off, and in this cave they find the glorious Yeti and his whole harem of mini Yetis. And guys got the golden dildo. Of course, he's gonna have all the harem. So Chewbacca, has to take on the Yeti in 1v1 combat. And Chewbacca being a bro and all that, and we know he's in the future movies, so he has to win here. And so he wins. They get the golden dildo, and they all get their own harems. The end of story.
Alrighty then. So, I think what you described is Soul, the Star Wars porn parody.
No, I'm sure. I told you, bro. I see these movies in my head. That's how it goes.
Okay, so, this is absolutely a movie Disney would make, right? They just went up to Mickey Mouse like, hey, we have an idea. Han Solo is going to chase after the golden dildo. And then Mickey Mouse will be like, ho, approved! Just like that.
Yeah, because Mickey Mouse owns Disney.
Right. Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, if you haven't seen Solo yet, right there. That's the movie, just for you.
That's the movie. I believe Zeo. So what actually happens at Zeo?
So you were so far off, except by like a couple parts where he was like, "Oh, he meets his bro," and they're like bros. So yeah, there's Han Solo. He does crash into a wall, kind of.
I knew it. See, there's always wall crashing.
And he does do a mission for a girl. So you got that.
I was just, I'm fucking good at this. I'm great.
Not quite. The train scene happens in more of the beginning of the movie, not at the end.
Okay.
And what's funny is while I don't think he's Darth Vader's uncle's grandfather, they do make a callback to Episode 1, and Darth Maul shows up at the end.
See, I just had the wrong character. It was someone else's uncle's granddad. Yeah, see?
Yeah, somebody else's uncle granddad. So you're close, There's a lot less, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air stuff going on, and less dildos, I would say. But
there was only one dildo, bro. Calm the fuck down.
There's still less. I mean, it's still applicable. So, I mean, other than that, you're pretty close. There you go.
See, yeah, I just put together like general action movies and put it in space,
Yeah,
and I was
there
like,
you
yeah,
go.
this is probably the plot.
I mean, that's pretty close to what Solo was. We'll have to do this again sometime in the future. Maybe have less dildos involved, but we'll see. So, I don't know what we were gonna talk about before this. Oh yeah, so you know how Nintendo had been making their miniature classic versions of all their consoles.
You mean like the mini NES, whatever it's called?
Yeah, the mini S, and then they did the Super Nintendo, and then they've also recently announced they're gonna do a mini Nintendo 64.
I didn't know they were doing that. I've got a Nintendo 64 in my drawer in front of me. That's way off topic.
Well, apparently Sony in the rumor mill is going to be making their own PS1 classic version.
Really?
Supposedly. How do you feel about that? What do you think about them joining that type of thing?
I don't want to use a PS1 controller.
Well, I think it'd be updated probably to be closer to a PS3 controller.
So I don't have to sit there plugged in like I'm on.
Oh yeah, you'll probably still have to be plugged in.
Fucking hell! I don't want to sit there plugged in.
Then don't get it. I mean, in general, like, what do you think of the
But
idea
it's
of them
Sony.
having
I have to get it.
a
No,
miniature PlayStation,
I think
and it would
like
have like
it's
100 games on it?
it's kind of cool, but I mean, like, don't they already have that PlayStation Now? No, is it?
Yeah, it is PlayStation Now. That's a rental
Yeah.
service, though, I believe.
Yeah, I know, but like, no, yeah, it is. You pay monthly, and then you
Right.
get all the games on their platform. But I mean,
With-
like, do you really need this little classic thing when you have PlayStation Now? I mean, wouldn't it just bring more customers to pay monthly rather than saying, "Hey, buy our new cheap little console and get 100 games"?
See, that's where I disagree. Like, I think it would be a lot of people would much rather prefer to pay like $100 for this little console and just have like 50 to 100 games as opposed to paying like $40 monthly to
Whoa,
play.
$40 monthly is
I think
£7.
that's how much it is.
It's
Oh,
£7
is it? Wait, for PlayStation Now? Did they lower
Yeah.
it? It used to be like $39 a month.
for a fucking year.
Oh, really? I
I'm
didn't
sure it's
know
like
that.
40. I'm sure it's like 40 pound for a year, and then it's like £7 for a month.
Oh, well then PlayStation Now might totally be worth it then. I
Yeah,
remember it used to be
PlayStation-
more expensive. I could have swore it was.
How much? How? Because I accidentally ordered it for 3 months once,
Yeah.
and I'm sure it wasn't that expensive.
I mean, even though, like, just because it's on PlayStation Now doesn't mean they're going to have all the classic PS1 games. Like, I'm sure
Yeah,
they'll have some of the good staples, like Spyro or Crash Bandicoot, things like that. But what about some smaller games, like maybe the first Need for Speed?
I'd rather play that on PS Now. It's just easier.
Is it on PS Now, though?
I don't know, but they could if they can put it on this little console, they can put it on PlayStation Now.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, fair
By
enough.
the way,
but, I mean,
it's
still-
$9.99 per month. So yeah,
okay.
around $7.
Well, they must have lowered it then, because I could have swore it was a lot more expensive. But I don't know. It kind of hits my nostalgia bone. Like, I wanted to get the Nintendo NES and like the Super Nintendo, but you know my relationship with Nintendo's kind of rocky. However, being a Sony fanboy, I think it'd be kind of cool to have like a miniature PS1, and I wouldn't necessarily play it, but I'd hang it up on my wall or something.
I was totally wrong. It's $20 for a month. I was listening. I just read something else, and I was like, oh. Wrong. $20 a month. You're right. That is fucking expensive. I can't believe I accidentally bought that for 3 months. Way off topic. Continue as we were talking about the PS Zone.
Okay. Well, I was just saying that I think it'd still be kind of cool to kind of have these games, maybe play through a couple of them because they're not accessible on PlayStation Now or through conventional means. And
I'd
just hang it up
probably
on my
get it.
wall.
I think it's great that they have that. I'd probably get it and play it, but I'd rather them just slightly lower the price of PlayStation Now and everyone just get that.
Yeah, but you also got to think the general consumer doesn't all have PlayStation 4s, and seeing this could like
PlayStation Now is also on PS3. Just saying.
okay. The point is general consumers that aren't gamers that would have these consoles typically are probably more apt to get a smaller console like this just because of memories of being a childhood. Nostalgia is very strong with the general audience.
Ugh. You people being idiots. Just get with it. Get new technology.
But I don't know. I'd be interested to see if they actually release it, how it would do, and I might actually get one if they did. With that though, let's talk about more new stuff. All right, so E3, we made some predictions, Neo, and
E3.
they've released an official list of things.
Of things. How specific? They have
Look, there's a lot of
have a
games on
list.
this list. Okay, I just want to go
Apples,
through and name the
bananas,
ones that we got right.
bacon, Call of Duty, Black Ops 4. Yeah, what else is on your list of things, C3? Oh, we're getting tables and chairs. Ooh!
All right,
Yeah.
you're funny. All right, look, there's games. They got a list of games that are officially been announced for E3.
So, how are we doing this? Are we talking about specific ones, or are we reading them all out really fast?
Well, I was just gonna scroll through and kind of talk about the games we did predict, and so first on this list though we have Battlefield 5.
Yep.
I did call that. We got that
Yep,
one right.
You got that one. You got
Naturally, we said Call of Duty. I didn't
Yeah.
expect it to be Black Ops 4.
that. Well, I told you it'd be Black Ops 4. You didn't listen to me.
Well, we talked about it the week after, yeah, but like I'm saying, when we first initially made the list, I thought it would be like a new Call of Duty franchise, not
did
Black
I not
Ops 4.
say? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize it didn't say when we were watching the stream. But anyway, there's like there's trailers and stuff for the Black Ops 4 already. I don't know if you've seen any of them.
I've fallen so out of touch with the Call of Duty games.
Yeah, I seen that they were there, and I ran the opposite direction as fast as I could. So
yeah. Naturally, there's Destiny 2 DLC.
Yep, we got that one.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Well, the Division 2. Did we say that one?
We did not say the Division 2.
Oh.
We should have, though, because apparently...
We should have.
You know,
why is For Honor on this list?
I don't know. Maybe they're going to have DLC or something.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, we got Ghost of Tsushima. Yep, that's 4.
I guess I should have guessed Kingdom Hearts 3, because that's on this
Kingdom
list.
Hearts 4, bro. 4.
Oh, yeah, it's a typo. Oh, we're not even going to get Kingdom Hearts 3. They're just going straight to 4. The wait continues.
No, yeah, I told you should have said Kingdom Hearts.
I know, but I just...
You just didn't want it to be Kingdom Hearts.
I would rather it be Final Fantasy VII, okay?
You were being stubborn.
It was. Last of Us 2, naturally.
Right, so
you called 6. Rage 2, didn't you?
I did call Rage 2.
So good
7.
job there.
Yep.
We had Spider-Man, naturally.
Yep.
Super Smash Bros. Switch.
Yep.
I called Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yep.
I didn't think of Splatoon 2 at all.
No, but I thought it was out.
I did too. I thought it came out like last year.
Wait, let me Google it quick.
Okay. I'll continue. And I think... Oh, Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones.
Well, yeah, we were right about that one.
Yeah, that's the other pirate game, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Initial release date, July the 21st, 2017.
So it did come out last year.
Maybe DLC?
Yeah, it's gotta be something.
Oh, yeah. Something to do with Splatoon, anyway.
Yeah. Splatoon came surprisingly really popular for Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, it was like their version of their own shooter, and it was quite fun.
Well, yeah, I just thought, when they initially announced the first Splatoon, I thought it was going to be like Plants vs. Zombies, like Garden Warfare. You know, just...
Yeah. The first... Wait, was Garden Warfare the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the first Plants vs. Zombies was pretty big, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that was also a tower defense game, as Garden Warfare was a shooter.
No, I meant as in the first one they made on console was pretty big for a while.
Yeah, it was big for a while, but it died pretty quickly. As Splatoon seemed to continue.
Yeah.
What's interesting here, Neo, is they have a game. It's
we didn't say Anthem. We called Anthem as well.
Is Anthem on? Oh yeah, Anthem is on this list, of course. Well, Anthem was kind of a given. We expected that.
I mean, I'd be devastated if they didn't talk about Anthem.
Right. But what's interesting though is there's a game Re-Evolve on here. Now, do you think they're trying to bring back the original Evolve game that died?
I don't think they would, because.
Yeah, but the way it says Re-Evolved, and then like the E in Evolved is capitalized. So it just makes me think like maybe they're doing this Ultimate Package DLC or trying to revamp it a little bit.
Evolve died ages ago.
It did.
I don't think they're dumb enough to remake the game.
It was very rough. Like they charged you $60 for the game. And then they charged you like $120 for all the DLC parts of it that were launched on day one. And so like you initially would have to pay like $180 to have the entire game. And then about 6 months later they made it free to play. And it just still died because at that point the entire audience that was excited for it just didn't care anymore. And I was looking forward to Evolve initially because it sounded really cool having 4 players hunt a small monster as it grows, and then eventually that monster becomes the killer.
Yeah.
I thought it had a lot of potential.
Quite excited. I also picked up the game and was disappointed in it.
Oh, you bought it? Oh, I didn't buy it.
Wow. No, my brother bought it.
Oh, okay.
I should clarify. Me and him both wanted to get it. He bought it first, and then after he bought it, I was like, I'm not picking that up.
So, well, let's entertain the idea that they are bringing Evolve back. What do you think they're gonna try to do to revitalize it?
Not charge you an extra $120 for the rest of the game.
Do you see? I think if they do it, they'll keep it free to play, and they'll probably do like a cosmetic system. Or
I think that'd be a smart way to go.
Monsters.
I think that'd definitely be a smart way to go, but they'd also need more content as well. Like
new maps and
because there wasn't actually that much to the game. When I played it, like I was like, wow, this is barely a $60 title. I mean, it wasn't really a $60 title in the first place.
Right, no,
I don't.
I feel like they would have been much more successful if they launched the game for free, because they gave you 3 monsters to choose from out of, and then they gave you 4 out of, like, what was it, 7 or 8 heroes?
Yeah.
For free. I think if they just gave that to you for free, the 3 monsters and those 4 heroes, and then let you buy the other ones, I think they would have been okay.
I don't even like it when they do that in free-to-play games. I don't find those free-to-play games fun. I think there's always needs to be like a way to invest time to get it instead of investing money. Because the thing is,
okay.
money should equate to. I think this is an issue with free-to-play in general. Money needs to equate to time. Nothing should be locked completely behind a paid barrier.
Right.
Cosmetics, I'm okay with, because I mean,
Well, yeah, that's
they're cosmetic. It doesn't really make a difference to a game. But the thing is, like, unlocking different heroes. So what? I'm only allowed to play a small part of your free-to-play game unless I pay for the rest? I don't know. I think you need to decide whether you're a free-to-play game or you're a paid-for game. I don't like it when they put both together.
Fair
unless
enough.
you're gonna call it some kind of demo, in which case I'll let you off. Like, yeah, it's a demo. I only get 3 of your characters.
Yeah.
But, you know.
All right. Well, I mean, that kind of brings me to a topic I'd like us to focus on more for the day. Games that died, essentially. You and I have experienced a game together, or a couple games together that we both loved and have died. And just, I want to dig into that a little bit, kind of figure out, like, what are our thoughts on why they died? What advice could we possibly give developers, you know, because we're qualified, what they could do to not make the same mistakes, you know?
Don't be so damn money hungry.
Yeah, that's
pretty much
probably
the long
the
and
biggest
short of
one.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, I mean, I think that's pretty much a problem that every game we're going to talk about has.
yeah. So
I don't think, actually, there's one of them that we're going to talk about that didn't have that problem.
right, okay,
But, you know, that game came back, so, yeah.
yeah. All right,
Bit of a spoiler for what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, foreshadowing. Let's start with Paragon, the game that brought us together. So, anybody who is familiar with ZeNi Gaming or you and me, they know we love Paragon. It was my favorite game for the 2.5 years that it existed.
And also mine.
It was phenomenal from start to finish, but it had an identity issue.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, I wouldn't say from start to finish in those 2 years. There was definitely ups and downs on the game. Like,
Well,
it was my favorite game, but at some points during the game's life, I genuinely just felt like deleting it and never touching it again. But, you know, I pushed through it, and then it'd get good again, and then it'd dip again.
See, I stuck with it, and I defended it as, like, it's always going to get good because I trust Epic Games. You know, I had faith in them as a developer.
Look where your trust got you.
I know, it got us, Fortnite.
They fucked off Unreal Engine as well, so not Unreal Engine, Unreal Tournament. Like, it's still going, but, like, I mean, it's not really supported a lot by Epic anymore.
Yeah.
So they'd done it before, so I'm not really sure why your faith was in them.
I know. I've always loved the MOBA genre, and the fact that I got a MOBA that wasn't a point and click. Like, I've always loved watching MOBAs, and I've always loved MOBAs, but I hate...
Bro? You have Smite.
Shut up. Smite has a big community, but it's just not for me. It just feels clunky for me.
That's because it's made by High Res. No offense, High Res.
But give you a history. Paragon started strictly as a MOBA, and that's how they advertised it. It was a MOBA that was a third-person action shooter. And it was not as fast-paced as probably they would have wanted it, but it was still great. Anybody who wanted a MOBA got that traditional MOBA feel. And the map was beautiful. It was polished. It looked good. Characters were great. Pacing felt good too. Like, it was on par with how long some other MOBA games lasted. But Epic Games wanted to shorten it, and / there was an issue because the map was so big. They would have like a sprint mode.
Well, I mean, I think the reason they wanted to shorten it here is because they wanted to make it a little bit more friendly for the casual market, which is a big problem I would say they had. Like, they're trying to make a MOBA, but a MOBA that has a core community around it, you can't make a MOBA for everyone.
Yeah.
Which is where the problem starts, in my opinion.
MOBA is its own specific genre of gaming, like, and it's a big genre of gaming. Like, MOBAs may not be the most popular type of games, but they're the longest lasting type of games.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like they wanted a MOBA that was also a shooter.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I don't.
And it's like, well, I mean, you know what I mean by shooter. They
Yeah.
wanted a MOBA that was also Call of Duty or Overwatch or something like that. And it's like you can't really have your MOBA play out with the same sort of pacing as games like that,
And
because it takes away from the MOBA part of it.
because of the slowness of that initial release, it changed its first identity. It lasted probably about, I would say, what, 8 months, Neo? 9 months?
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah, it was about that.
And then it decided that it wanted to be more compact, be a little faster paced. It definitely would have catered to a lot of people outside of the MOBA genre. And I don't think it was necessarily bad what it did that either. It just divided the community at that point. Because
it was different. And a lot of people couldn't adjust to the changes they made because they'd fallen in love with the original game. Like, we haven't actually told you the changes. What they did is they completely scrapped the map that we'd been playing on, gave us a new, smaller map. They changed all the characters because you used to be able to, like, walk slow when you were fighting and then you'd sprint when you were out of combat. And they got rid of that completely and just made everyone fast. And they made a lot of balance changes towards the damage and stuff. And it just felt like a different MOBA completely. Like, in my opinion, it was new. Everything was different. I remember going from Legacy into Monolith being the new one, Legacy being the old one, and I just couldn't get used to Monolith for so long. Like, I just fed. I just go and die, and they'd be like, "Why is it still happening to me?"
And
You know?
even then, like, it wasn't bad where it was at. It just needed to be built upon and polished. You know, it was still like. People started to accept it, and then it finally started to get good again because they added new little elements like cards and made the game a little more diverse.
And changes.
Yeah, they were actually balancing it, and then about, I'd say, another 8 or so months, they rehauled the entire game again by changing the core element of how you build your characters through this game.
So the original game used a card system where you'd pick up cards and they gave you bonuses to your stats and stuff, and like, you know, like, I'd get this one, I can attack a little bit faster. I get this one, I can do a bit more damage, and you'd build your deck towards the end of the game. But when they added some of these changes, they were adding some more new and interesting cards. They had, like, interesting effects. Like, can you think of any off the top of your head, Zeo? Because I can't remember any of the cards they went in.
There's one that was like a cleanse when you did a certain type of damage and everything. There's one you could use to kind of stop yourself.
Yeah, you got. There was one where if you took a certain amount of damage, you got cleanse, and then there was the one where
you could turn yourself into like a
statue.
Up,
yeah, you could turn yourself into a statue. There was one where if you got knocked up, you got healing. There was stuff like you could move and attack faster, but you took increased damage. So basically, they added in lots of interesting little effects with the cards.
And it started to make the game more diverse and actually really fun with the current card system they had.
Then they scrapped it. It was all gone. No more card system we were used to, and they added in these new type of card system and this gem system, which wasn't bad.
Right.
Like, it was still fun to play, but once again, it split the community into, are we willing to relearn the game again, or do we pie off the game, which is what a lot of people did. And I think there's another issue that we forgot to mention throughout all this. This game was not friendly for new players.
Right.
Would you agree with that, Zero? The amount of people I tried to introduce to this, and they just couldn't get through the first part.
Yeah.
The only people I managed to actually introduce to the game were those who are willing to learn the game first,
and I'd say
they had to spend hours investing before they could actually enjoy it.
And I'd say it's part of its identity crisis, because it never officially labeled itself as a MOBA. They always kept trying to be like, we're MOBA-esque, or MOBA Light, or Diet MOBA, but like they never were like, we are a MOBA, and so people couldn't exactly comprehend what is it trying to go for. People thought it'd be like a hero brawler, or like just like an Overwatch kind of clone, but with a little more map diversity.
I do think that another issue, like that's I don't think that's the biggest problem. It quite clearly was a MOBA, but they weren't marketing themselves to MOBA players. They were marketing themselves to a casual market, and casual players don't like MOBAs because it's not casual.
Yeah, it's not a casual style
What about
game.
a MOBA is casual? Yeah. So they weren't picking up any new players, and there was no tutorial. There was no way to ease people into it. There was no like easy people to play against. There was no ranking. There was no true ranking system so that you could be matched against lower players and get some practice to work yourself up. You were just thrown in the deep end and expected to know how to play. So it was really difficult to bring in new players. So even when they were splitting up their community, they kept losing people and were not getting anyone to replace who they were losing.
And the final game they decided to commit to at that time wasn't bad either, and it actually started to improve and become a really fun version of the game again. Yeah, like I remember having a blast with the new card system, new gen system. It created diversity on how to build the characters and everything, exactly what they were going for. But the game was slowing down at that point because Epic recently released their Fortnite game. And so Epic Games took part of the community and put some of their resources into the Fortnite game. And Epic made a promise to not give up on Paragon, and then literally like a week or two later, they announced that they were shutting it down. Because Fortnite was just an overnight success.
The issue is they had this game that they'd been slowly working their way with, and it had its ups and downs. It wasn't a dead game.
It didn't actually die. Like the community was strong and it was growing.
Even after they announced that they were having issues with it, there was still a strong community behind the game. There was still a lot of people trying to support it. But Fortnite was just I mean, you see now Fortnite's becoming one of the biggest games ever. It probably is the biggest game ever at the moment. And who's going to support the little man when you've got some little thing that's shitting out money, that so much money they don't know what to do with it?
Yeah.
Over on the other side.
Why keep running your lemonade stand when you created a conglomerate right next door?
So Paragon got left behind for, more money in Fortnite.
Which is really sad, because I think being a MOBAs last forever. I mean, look at, Dota or League of Legends. They've been out for 10 plus years. And they're a consistent revenue that's building bigger and bigger every year. As I think Fortnite is a fad. It's right now super popular because you don't have too many battle royales, but eventually Call of Duty's going to have their own. Battlefield's going to make it, and then it's going to become an oversaturated market. And I think Fortnite will eventually fade in a few years.
I thought this as well, but I didn't even think it'd last a few years. I thought the fad will have been and pretty much be going now. But if you look into Fortnite, it's continuing to escalate, and I think that's because Fortnite has no longer become just a game. It has become the how should I put it? It's like its own little advertising thing, like a bit of a marketing machine,
I agree with you. I'm not saying Fortnite's going to die next year and stuff, but yeah.
No. Well, I don't think Fortnite's going to die. I think it will continue to be a game that goes on as long as it continues to get support from its developer, because the way they're treating Fortnite, it's become more than just a game. Like everyone knows it. Everyone who's not even in the gaming, who's into gaming also knows about the game. Think about all these parents, all
cultural
these,
phenomenon.
All these celebrities. And that's because they've made it more than just a game. They've got people involved in it. Like bringing Thanos into the game may have seemed weird and out of the blue, but because of the way their game is run, they can do it, and it brings in players. It brings in even those people who are getting a bit bored. They come in. Oh, look, Thanos! I want to try being Thanos for a bit. Or those people who are just interested in Marvel come over to check out this game, and those people who are in this game go to check out other things. It becomes sort of like an advert. It's like an advert, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like everyone's coming to it like it's its own advert, and it will continue to attract people. And I think as long as it gets continued support from its developer, from Epic Games, which as long as it continues to be a big money pool, they will support it. it's going to continue that way. I don't think it's going to die out.
So do you?
At first, it seemed like it would have, but at this point, I think they've dealt with the game very well, and I don't
Oh
think
yeah,
it will
no,
die.
it's gotten massive support, and I do think that Fortnite is a good game. I don't think it's bad, and I think they've been genius in their marketing. I think they're genius on creating their skins and everything they've done to help make money for that game. Absolutely, and it's definitely fun. They change the map once in a while, which is clever. Um, I'm talking about the battle royale genre as a whole. Like
Yeah,
right
I think
now, it's the hottest.
the battle royale genre as a whole, yeah, but not Fortnite. I don't think Fortnite will go with
It's
it.
the hottest thing, and but once it gets made by other companies, like Call of Duty's going to have a battle royale. Battlefield's probably going to make their battle royale. And then other games are clearly introducing battle royales. I mean, freaking even the other MOBA style, not MOBA, the Overwatch clone by Hi-Rez.
The Paladins.
Paladins. Even Paladins has a battle royale now. So like,
No, they had a battle royale out of their game, and now they're making their own battle royale on the Paladins
world.
engine.
See, I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's what they're doing. And then it's big now, but eventually it's going to be oversaturated and people are going to get tired of it and want something different. And while I think Battle Royale is definitely a step different from the classic shooter, and I love Battle Royales, I think it's a fad. I think it's going to last 4 or 5 years, and then it's going to die out. I don't think Fortnite will be as long-term as Paragon could have been. I definitely think it'll make more money than Paragon would have in that time span. So, like, if you put them each on a 5-year structure, Fortnite would have made more money. But I think Fortnite will die, and then Paragon would have lasted.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Enough about Paragon. It's sad to see it go, and one day I would like to hope that Fortnite will die, and then maybe they'll go back and be like, hey, we're going to do Paragon again. But
I don't think
that'll never happen, Neo. I know, but I would like to dream.
Listen, I think it could have been possible, but they gave the assets to everyone, and now there's no chance.
Yeah.
I think it was really nice that they gave the assets to everyone, but like that means there's no chance of it coming back, in my opinion.
I know. I agree with you. I know it's never going to come back, but I still want to hope. Anyways, moving on.
Goddamn epic little letdown.
A game we both enjoyed playing on the side was Gigantic.
Yeah.
That game also died.
Mm-hmm.
Give us the rundown. What happened to it, Neo?
Right, so basically, Gigantic had so many issues during development, and even just after it came out, it still those issues from development were still lingering. The game essentially was like from a small new studio, and they were like, hey, we got 20 mil here to whack together a game, and they started working on this game, but at some point funds started to dry up and whatever, and so they got Microsoft involved. But Microsoft were only willing to put their money in if they now made this game on the Microsoft platforms, being Xbox and the Windows Store, which limited their access to players, because they then had to make this game for Xbox and the Windows Store before they could put it on like Steam and that, where you get your attention from, or their own website. I don't know what they were originally going to do with it, but yeah, they then had to make it for that, and they continued with that, but once again funds started to dry up and they had to make cuts within their team, and then they got another group of people involved. They invested in them, these people called what is it? The people who own the Arc Launcher. Do you know the Arc Launcher, Zeo?
I'm familiar with the Arc Launcher. I'm not sure who owns it.
Yeah, well, whoever has that launcher, they got involved, and they were like, hey, if you make it for our Arc Launcher, we'll put more money towards it. So they got more money towards it, but then had to make it for the Arc Launcher as well. And this is all taking development time. This is all splitting up the interest of the developers, which is costing them the money that they're getting. So then money dries up again, and they had to make more cuts to their team. They then managed to get the game out on all platforms, Steam, Windows, whatever the fuck they were making it for. And the issue is they only had then a small core team to support the game and keep it running. You got to take into consideration that other costs are still coming out, for like servers and that, and keeping the game up time and paying the developers that they have. And they've also managed to work their way into a lot of debt throughout development of this game. So any money that they were making off this game then is going into back pay for paying off the debts. any money they would have been making anyway, because throughout the development of this game, they never had any way
To make money.
for players to make money. Yeah. They never had any monetization within their game. There was no founders pack or whatever or not to get into the game. You literally just downloaded the game and hopped in. So they have pushed out a game and they've been developing a game and making absolutely no money for it.
Right.
Which sort of just drove them into a hole. It's kind of like the opposite of what we were just slagging Epic off for.
Yeah.
They were being completely ungreedy and were trying to be helpful to the community and not charge them out their asses and stuff to get involved within this project they're working on, and they dug themselves a grave with it.
Yeah.
Not to mention all of the debts they got in with Microsoft and what, because I mean they were trying to stay a free studio. That was kind of the idea of going solo and then going with Microsoft.
Great, but like they had to have something. They didn't even do any marketing either.
Yeah, no, they had a bit of marketing for a little while, but the thing is, marketing costs money, and when you can barely afford to keep your dev team going, you're not going on marketing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was just problem after problem during development, and it's a problem that they caused, to be honest, because they weren't greedy enough. Which isn't something you really want to say, is it? Like, you don't want developers to be more greedy, but in this case, they probably should have been.
Right. I mean, I don't think it was necessarily that they needed to be greedy, because the game was fun. Like, it was a
It was a good
hero
game.
shooter that wasn't, Overwatch or Paladins, and it had like small elements of that game, but then small elements of a MOBA. It was fun. Like, I actually quite enjoyed the game, and the pacing wasn't the worst.
It was a really interesting twist on what you see in MOBAs and hero shooters. Like it felt like its own genre when you actually played it. It still had the similar objectives to hero shooter, where like you kill people on your way and you have to push an objective, and like the intention is to destroy the other enemy's big monster, the giant, gigantic, whatever the thing is called.
And you did that by getting kills or taking down certain towers that they had.
Yeah, so you were able to build towers and stuff along the way, and they gave your team bonuses and stuff. So it was MOBA-esque, it was hero shooter-esque, but it played completely different to both. It was a really good game. Had very few bugs with the game itself.
Right.
Like, well, not very few issues. There were bugs that they ran into throughout development.
Yeah. But overall, it was a polished game, and they really could have built upon it, and it could have been great.
But there's nothing to build upon when you're millions in debt and have no money.
Yeah.
So
it was unfortunate. Like I quite enjoyed Gigantic. Like I remember just every game I played was fun. I'd never really had a complaint about it. I think the pacing could have been a little faster. But even then, the game
it felt a bit brawlery boxery, but that isn't a big issue. That was. If it became a big issue, you can slightly adjust damage.
Yeah, they could have just tweaked it, and it would have just ran smoothly. It was overall very well done. I was impressed. I liked the cosmetics. It was cell shading, so wasn't like the most graphical thing, but it was pretty. It was colorful, and it stood out. It was different. It was, unfortunately, just you hate to see games like that not be successful, because it kind of creates a mold that people have to follow as opposed to trying to be creative.
Yeah. I don't think that. I think it may have been their want to stay free and independent that caused the problem. Yeah. But the thing is, if they hadn't, then we wouldn't have got that creative game that we wanted. Yeah. And then the issues with no marketing and no monetization, that became the biggest issues, I think. I think with a bit of monetization and ways to support the game, like you couldn't even go to their website and donate money to them if you wanted to or anything. There was no way to give money to those developers at all.
And
I think you just need to take these sort of things into consideration when you're making a game, and you need to really have a look at your future plan and say, hey, at this point and at this point we're going to need this much money and this much money, which seems like a thing they didn't do. Like
right.
They seemed like they had no plan.
No business model.
They just dived in and were like, hey, this is our game idea, we're going to make it, but weren't realistic about it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It was a good game. I kind of wish it did stick around. I would have loved to put that on a channel and stuff too. It was a lot of fun. But you said there was a game that did die, but kind of made a revival.
People will probably know more about this game than we do, since we never really got much.
We also never know what we're talking about, but some people listen to us anyways. So
that's true. The Division. I'm assuming everyone's heard of The Division. Unlike the other games we're talking about, it was made by like a big publisher,
Yeah, Ubisoft.
Ubisoft. So rude. Yeah. So The Division was a game. Well, it was like some RNG looter shooter type game. Can you give a better description?
Yeah,
of
yeah,
what the
yeah.
game
I
was?
actually followed the Division pretty closely up until launch, and then I bought it and played it for a little while, and I kind of fell out of it. Okay, so the Division started off with like it had this promise of an open world MMO style RPG style game, and like that's kind of what you had the feel of by all the trailers and stuff they shown. And then they, what I like to call the Ubisoft effect, where they downgrade it. It happened with Watch Dogs first. Like everyone thought it was going to be this big, great game, and it turned out it was just crap. and then, but the Division seemed promising because it was a different studio, and then come to find out, Massive is a studio that wasn't very big and didn't have much experience in AAA titles or how to handle bigger games with multiplayer aspects to them. And so it kind of dwindled down to just be like a single player RPG number grind game with small pockets of multiplayer areas. And that wasn't initially the problem either, but when you just got in the game, it was just so buggy. It just, everything bugged out. It was way too easy to take advantage of, and it was...
Well, I mean, that's when the game wasn't ruining you because you were falling through floors and being flung through walls and shit.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, there was some massive game-breaking
Yeah,
bugs
it was
there.
just an awful experience from launch, and like I tried to stick with it personally for at least 2 to 3 weeks. You know, I did the grind. I went to the dark zone or whatever they call it. And
the dark sector.
Yeah, the dark sector. And it was just awful experience. And I stepped away from it at that point. I was just like, this game's gonna die. It's terrible. It is not what was promised. And supposedly it did die. Everyone fell out.
Yeah, but here's what we're gonna say about this game. This game actually made a comeback from death.
2 years
Like,
later,
it
even.
lost 2 years later. Like it lost all its player base. Most of its player base. There was only a very small core player base left.
Core
and
player base was
there was
all
fuck all to it.
shitheads and garbage people.
Yeah, that's a very rude thing to say. Though that core player base could be one of your subs,
That's
bro.
fine. You're a shithead and garbage player if you're one of those people.
You play games when they're buggy and use exploits. You
Yeah.
dirty
How dare
bastard.
you be a human being?
Yeah, well, yeah, so they actually had a look into the game and having a look at the problems. You see, the dev team were actually pulled quite tight, and they were working on other shit. Like they had the DLC to work on. They had plenty of. I mean, I don't know if you know anything about game development, but developers have everything they're gonna do planned like
Oh yeah.
a couple of years in advance. So when you run into problems, especially with big AAA studios like that, most of the time they don't get fixed. I mean, look at like Assassin's Creed Unity, was it?
Yeah, Unity,
That
where
was-
like
was
everyone's
it?
face was missing and you fall through
Yeah.
floors. Ubisoft has a problem where you fall through the floors of their games.
They just actually want to make space games, but keep realizing that they're on the floor and shit just goes really wrong.
Yeah. It's just like the game died, and then like I understand they had the development and the DLC to work on and stuff, but like you don't release a game that isn't done. You don't release something that's broken so bad. But somehow they released 2 different DLC packs. One, they kind of changed how the game worked or added an extra element, right? Like they added survival
Yeah.
mode where
So it wasn't a survival mode. They added some more survival-esque things to
right,
the game.
okay.
Like I never played this version of the game, the fixed one. But like there was things to deal with like cold climate and the gear you had to wear.
Mhm.
Like there was loads of really default basic random shit in the game, like loads of just random gear that no one really cared about. And they added uses to all of them because they all gave like a warmth shit. And,
Nice.
They also opened up New York City a little bit more.
Good.
And it was New York that it was based
Yes.
in, right? Please
New
tell me.
York.
Yeah. So the issue is before the updates, there was all these streets that you could go on, and it looked like they had these really cool, amazing buildings. If you look,
Oh
at the trailer
yeah,
and
the
stuff,
trailer
it
they
looks
made
like,
it seem like
looks
you
like
could
you
walk
can really
into the
explore
buildings.
it. Yeah. Nope. They were
Yep.
just those like flat boards
Yep,
you stick on
super
games and then they
disappointing.
just color in.
Mhm.
Yeah, that window looks great. Too bad you can't go inside. Yeah, but they opened up all the city and made it so you can explore some of the buildings and stuff and actually go in and enjoy the combat inside. And of course, they did a hell of a lot of bug fixes. They also then released another update, which added in what was it, that last stand, was it
Yeah,
called? Yeah,
Last Stand.
don't quote me.
Yeah, it's Last Stand.
Yeah, so it was like it was a PvP type thing. So you went out and you know, like battle royale type shit, going fighting groups of
24.
people.
I think it was Last Stand is basically a 24-player survival mode.
Yeah, so it was Hunger Games.
Yeah.
In New York City.
And I think what brought them back too is Ubisoft probably stepped back. They're like, "Hey, we fucked up." And then, like, Massive, you guys fix this now. I think they had every intention to just let Massive crumble under the pressure. But even though they're a small developer, I think they stepped up. They talked to their player base, that small core player base, the shitty people.
They did, like, live streams,
Yep.
didn't they? They did live streams and got involved.
They got
with the
very
community.
involved with the community and actually listened. And they started to be a lot more transparent about their intentions and what they did. And then after they had those DLC releases, it brought the entire player base back, or more actually, because I believe that they had an all-time high of like 20 million players or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was insane.
And to this game, Division is an amazing game, unlike when it released and the 2 years the 2 years after that, which crazy. I think that's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Like, I've never heard of a game releasing and
dying so fast
for 2 years,
and then actually coming back out of nowhere.
Dead. Like, if you played this game, what was it like last year? No one's there. But if you go on it now, there are millions of players on the game. It's insane.
And that definitely shows like so much about the developer Massive. Like, it does give me, I give them a lot of respect for that. They put in the hard work and they actually turned it around. Yeah,
I can agree with that. I think a big thing that they did though was getting involved with the community. I think that makes a big difference. With games in general, like,
it's almost like the gamers will tell you what they want out of your game.
Yeah. Hey, if you do this, we can promise you the game will work just like players want it to. No, yeah, because the thing is, it's great being a developer in your studio and all that, but you don't actually know what the players want unless you get involved with the community. Like, I'd say, Zeo, you haven't played this game yet, and I think you said you were going to. Warframe is, in my opinion, is the all-time best free-to-play game.
Yeah.
Not because the gameplay is like, or nothing, but because, like, they're just so open with their community. They've done such a good job when it comes to monetization in their game, and they have also done what we spoke about with the Division and took a dead game from a live game, and they did the exact same thing as the Division. They went and got involved with their community and gave the community what it wanted in order to create a good game. Well, you know, what it wanted to a point. They didn't just be like, hey, everyone can have the best weapon in the game, but like they were like, they created balance within the game, and they added in new additions that people were asking for, that the community as a whole felt like they needed.
So
I think that makes a big difference within a game.
So I think with that we kind of discovered like what would make these games more successful, what would prevent them from killing themselves if they make bad business models, like, you know, Battlefront 2 kind of thing. I think listen to your community, you know, talk to them, be open and transparent. Here's the deal, like, if you create an ambitious game and it's not there, tell your players it's not there, but we're going to give it to you so you can play it and let us know what you want out of it to make it better and get there. The players will absolutely dedicate their life to making that game better until it dies.
The thing is,
you know?
even when games die, they always have a core community to the end of the game. Like me and Zeo, I'd call us. We were playing Paragon till it died. We played it a couple of days before it died. We were like, hey, we're gonna get our last games out of this. We're gonna enjoy the shit out of this just before it goes, because every game, whether it dies or not, has a core community. The reason it dies is because they can't afford to keep it running on just that small core community. But if developers really got involved with, well, not just developers, the whole studio as a whole, got involved with that core community, they can bring new players in, because that community knows what the gamers want. They always know. The reason they hang around is because they believe that you would add in the changes, you know?
Yeah, it's true. They hold you to the highest expectations. You know, gamers are a weird bunch of people. We could be the nastiest group in the world, but at the same time, we're the quickest to forgive and forget. You know? And that's...
I don't know about that. I think gamers are just nasty, full stop.
Well, I mean, I think about it, though.
There's no forgiving and forgetting. We're just like, hey, you can continue to game with us. We're just going to continue to be
Think
dicks.
about it, though. No, here's the deal. Like, the Mass Effect community. Andromeda was super hyped. Practically almost every Mass Effect player hated Andromeda. It was just a disaster of a game. But I guarantee if they made another Mass Effect game, everybody would be like, yeah, let's totally get it. Who cares that they screwed us off last time?
No, yeah, I get what you mean.
You know, it's just, and the same thing with Assassin's Creed. Half of the Assassin's Creeds are terrible. So, but yet they keep dishing them out and people keep buying them. All of the Call of Duties, 90% of those have been god-awful.
No, we're not even.
But yet people keep buying them, Neo. That's the thing. The gaming community forgives and forgets to the point of it's like they get hit with a brick and have amnesia. I don't know if you can call it
forgive and forget. That's called fucking idiocy. It's like 1 year down the line, we're like, oh, COD was a bad game? Oh, fuck it. I forgot. Let's give it another try.
This is what happened. Yeah, like it's fucking like Black Ops.
We'll blow $60 every year until we learn.
Yeah, it's essentially like Call of Duty was at its peak at Modern Warfare 2. It was like this Modern Warfare 2 like changed things. It made things great. It revolutionized multiplayer online. And then they had Black Ops. And Black Ops was a lot of fun. Though a little diverse, Black Ops was still fun. So then they made Black Ops 2. Everybody loved Black Ops 2. Then they made Black Ops 3. And everybody hated Black Ops 3.
Wait.
And now they're like, hey, have Black Ops 4.
No, wait. Listen. You need to understand, one, not everyone hated Black Ops 3. That brought a lot of players back. The reason that no one wanted to play Black Ops 3 is because before that, I don't know if you remember this thing called Advanced Warfare and this thing called Ghost.
Those games were...
I think that they just fell out the back end of their asses. Like they didn't actually develop those games; they just shut them out, and that's why they lost all their player base. But yeah, anyway, continue as you were.
The point is like they keep shoving games out, and we're gonna keep buying them because
we're gamers.
Yeah, that's what we do. Okay, we become attached to a developer, and we'll buy anything they release. I'm gonna do it as much as I talk about my despise for, how long it's been for Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm going to buy that game. I'm going to play
You're
it.
going to buy it as soon as it's up. You're going to pre-order
and then I'm going to be
hyped
hyped over Kingdom Hearts 4 when they inevitably announce it.
And as much as I bitch about how they keep releasing Skyrim...
You're going to buy Skyrim on that.
You're
going to buy Skyrim when they release it on the mobile devices.
Yep. Why? Because we're gamers and
it's
that's what we
do. They're going to release that Choose Your Own Adventure book, and you're going to buy it, Neo.
I'm gonna buy fucking 4 copies, bro.
So you can choose different adventures in each book. Oh, alright. Well, I think our thing has gone on long enough. We've talked long enough for you guys to listen to us. We're done yapping and pretending we know what we're talking about. So, thanks for listening, guys. Is there a game you guys loved that ended up dying and you were sad about? If so, comment down below. Tell us your sob story. We'll play mini violins.
And also, let us know what you think of the PlayStation Classic, because I'm really curious.
Oh, yeah, me too. Actually, I'm fascinated. What do you think about the PlayStation Classic? You gonna get it? And if you have topics for us to talk about for our next podcast, comment down below. We'll definitely check it out. We'll talk about it for a little bit. Eventually, I'd like to get a thing where we get comments or letters or something. We can involve you guys. If you made it this far, do that. If. It's a big if. But, yeah, thanks. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks, guys. See you around. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell button because, bells.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.